I'm very grateful to be here. I was born in Kristiansund. It's a small town at the northwest coast of Norway. My parents were teenagers. My mother was a cleaner, and my father, a welder. He told me that the greatest thing I ever could become in life was a doctor. I didn't become a doctor, I became an artist. And today I live far away from where I grew up. But 3 years ago, I there started a people's movement in my hometown. And to be able to understand the movement, you need to know a little bit about the bunad. This is our national costume, and we wear it in occasions such as weddings, baptism, and of course on the national day. And there are different variants depending on where in the regions you come from and you are born. And the people who sew it keeps different local symbols woven into the fabrics. And it's also often passed down from mother to daughter. And that's why this is a very strong symbol of affiliation. Throughout history, the national costume has been used in protest garment whenever nature or democracy have been threatened. And we can draw parallels to Ukraine, where now mother and daughters are using the national costume, the Vladivoshka, to show identity in war. This is me. 3 years ago, I was on my way to a christening in my hometown, and I stopped by the maternity ward. And there I met the midwife who had called me just a few weeks earlier with the desperate news that the ward was about to be closed. I took this picture and I published it on social media with a call to action to put on the bunad and fight together with me for keeping the maternity ward. I went back to the christening and unaware of what I had set in motion. My great-grandmother was a strong coastal woman living on a small, cold, windy, freezing island called Smøla. And every day she grew vegetables, she baked bread, and she cooked an enormous amount of food to feed her 12 children and all the people who stayed at her farm. Although it was a tough life, my great-grandmother and other women gathered associations with other younger women and taught them how to nurse, care, breastfeed, but also about finance. So all the rights for women Norway has gained are the results of a long struggle by women themselves, such as pensions for fishermen's widows. They mostly gave birth at home, but if the birth stopped, they had to be rowed across the ocean to the mainland, and a rowing trip that could take like 12 hours. My mother was also a part of a women's network in the 70s. You know, they were fixing each other's hair, giving each other's advice, as well as smoking a lot of cigarettes and talking about hopeless men. My mother, she championed equality in our family, and I saw her work her way up from the floor as a cleaner to the management of the company. As an artist, I have tried to celebrate the history of my foremothers in my art, and my motives are often about women in natural relations with the nature and the relations between mother and a child. So when people ask me, what drives you? I always said that deep inside, it's a powerful, cursed, and committed old coastal woman. Norway is a long country with scattered settlements and geographical challenges, you know, such as mountains and fjords and a lot of bad weather. So when women are giving birth, we have 45 maternity wards to attend. And in the last 50 years, that number has been halved. The centralization is not only happening in Norway, it's happening all over Europe. And according to the people who support centralization, they said it gives better quality. But you know, the downsides are many. longer journeys increased the risk of transport birth and unwanted early return home because of overcrowded maternity wards, and then with a lack of follow-up for the new mother and the family. And that's why I think my photo in front of the maternity ward struck a chord with people. So then we have a grassroots movement, and overnight the bunad became a strong symbol of the birth case. Women went to work in bunad. They really embraced this. It's amazing, right? They shoveled down in the barn. They went skiing. They went on the mountains. They even went downhill skiing. I even saw women fly airplanes in the bunad. And what was important was that women were allowed to express themselves and support the cause in their own way. And this spread across the country. It spread to areas where the dispute over hospitals and local birthing services had been going on for many years, to women and men who experienced not being heard, and to those who had resigned but now were filled with new hope and willing to fight. The Bunadsgeriljaen have done countless events, demonstrations, meetings, actions, and I think the strongest one is this. When a woman, actually a doctor in bunad, cycled the length of Norway to speak to the Minister of Health. It took her 7 days. So, what was it that made me going from being an artist to being a front figure for this organization? In my work as an artist, I have sometimes used my body, used myself, and I have role models like Marina Abramovic, who sometimes torture herself in her expressions. Well, I don't like pain very much, but I'm also driven by duty, so I am able to preserve even when it hurts. I made an early decision to wear the bunad every day until the maternity ward in my hometown was saved. For the longest term, I wore it every day for 365 days. And now, after 3 years, I have worn it probably for 600 days. When I wear this, I feel I am an army leader. I'm dressed like my foremothers, but I'm also not able to show weakness because everybody is depending on me. I have to stay strong. So the bunad became my armor, my protection, and also an obsession. And I recognize parallel feelings, by being an artist, because then everything has to come from the heart, and then it's so strong. So, but if we were to win the match, we had to also use another weapon, and that was knowledge. So justifying our needs with facts and research, that was a very strong combination with the emotions. It was like a superpower. I learned more and more about the case every day and about the consequences of closing down the maternity wards in the districts. Increased risk of injury to mother and baby, and even though the deaths among children are going down, the increase are going up according to injuries at the babies. And unfortunately, we also see more suicide among new mothers. And then there were all the stories, about women who had given birth in a car on a mountain with a terrified father next to her as a doula, and the woman who had to drive to the next maternity ward because the one she came to was either closed or overcrowded. And I especially remember the woman who came to all our events in Bunad to stood up for her child she lost during childbirth 35 years ago when she was not allowed to grieve. And also my old teacher who came to our events because his mother died during childbirth. And the Bunadsgeriljaen was built on all this and driven by the positive ripple effect of working for giving mother and child the best start in life. But you know, at times it can be a challenge to engage people in work-related tasks because in pure purpose organizations, some members only want to contribute where they feel the need, not where help is actually needed. And as a leader, I try to balance being including towards people, but at the same time expecting them to contribute to the cause, but also not miss any good opportunities or good ideas. The grassroots movements often experience an enormous upswing in the beginning, and so it was also for the Bunadsgeriljaen. Everything went so fast. We had 1,200 members a day, 900 mentions in the newspapers. We were even mentioned in a lot of foreign newspapers, and once at the streets in Oslo, I was recognized by people from Germany. We were everywhere, and we were seen as a power factor others had to take a stand on. And the politicians, they described us as an army of women, armed in bunad, with a heart at the right place, with a clear voice, and fighting for a noble cause. But it was also the case that every time we got through something positive, a wall of resistance hit us and threw us back. Each victory costs a lot. The resistance was so massive that I felt in need of drawing the metaphors of war even further. Because no matter what we did, they kind of felt they were stronger than us. And they are the system that runs our public hospitals according to a model called New Public Management. And they make decisions that have great impact on people's health and people's life. So, I stood in front of the board with a rowing oar and a flexed muscle, thumped my oar in the floor for the safety of mother and children, and they kicked me out. And then a lot of things happened at the same time. A lot of the media turned against us, the maternity ward closed, dissensions broke out in the rank, and some turned against me, and I lost confidence in myself because I lost contact with my heart. So, did I stay strong? No. I broke down. I was in bed 4 days, paralyzed by fear. Fear of not being able to do the task, fear of letting people down, afraid of that everything I had built up was about to collapse. A therapist told me that the path to transformation is through pain. And the first day I got up, got in the shower, and screamed. Loud, really loud, repetitive roars. And I realized it was just like when I gave birth to my 2 children. And then I was transformed, and from that day, I chose to lead without fear, with love. And I could again feel the calling. And with this feeling, we gathered the people again in the belief that we would succeed in getting the maternity wards reopened. And in addition to the bunad, we also got a new symbol, a beautiful needle made by a local jeweler with 2 pearls, one for mother, one for the baby, and the red pearl for the pain it is to bringing children into the world, and we gave it here to the Prime Minister. We managed, after the election, to have our cause mentioned in the report for the new government. We have managed to save 1 out of 4 maternity wards, so we have 3 to go. Today, the Bunadsgeriljaen has become a user organization, and we work for better conditions for all the women giving birth, but especially for women in the districts. My bunad, this one, will end up at the Norwegian Women's Museum. It has become a very strong symbol of the modern struggle, female struggle, so on. And next year, a documentary will be ready about us and shown at the cinemas in Norway. And here it says, we never give up. In April, I passed the rowing oar to another leader, Maria Brekkan. I needed rest, and the organization needed somebody else to run the organization, and also needed more people to lift them up and become front figures. Maria is young, she's childless, and she is living on the island by the coast. She's a tough woman, and she has what it takes to run this organization, and I really believe in her. Giving up my baby was hard, but it was very necessary. Maria really empowers herself, and I continue as an ambassador and the founder. And I'm here. So now I would like to show a video when 12 women rowed a pregnant woman across the sea from the island where my foremothers came from to my hometown. In the same boat the midwives used in 1920. And when they came ashore singing, it gathers the whole region, and we could again really feel the power, and it gave us the beliefs that we could continue fighting for what we believe in, better conditions when women are giving birth. Oh, I need to show her because she's just amazing, huh?
Thank you. Thank God I was born at that hospital in a different time. And it's paradoxical to think about. In the days we were born, you were born there too, yeah? Yeah, when we were born there, Norway was not such a rich country as it is today. And outside the shores, billions are coming in every day of this gas that Europe wants, all the oil, everything is coming in there. And for just a peanut, not even 1% of that money, they don't want to keep these ones. And ladies, it's not okay. And thank you, Anja, for taking that stand for that magic hospital.
My dream.
Yeah, tell it your dream. Yeah.
My dream is that every woman, anywhere in the world, everywhere, should get the best care when they bring babies into the world, because the positive benefits, the circle effects, are so huge for the whole society and for the whole world.
Yes. And it's so, like, as we are such an advanced society, around the world now, people are educated, we're smart. And then yet, there is a regression going on in so many places of these very basic, so basic human rights to have a safe place to give birth and a safe place to come into this world. So thank you for your work. And ladies, spread the word. You take a stand for whatever it is in your environment that's not okay. Right, Anja? Okay.